The Great American Cookout, brought to you by the Weber Stephen Products Company.
What are you doing over there?
I'm just checking out the style of my new outfit here. See if it looks as good as I normally look.
My God, you look spectacular.
Thank you. So do you.
Very authentic. I think your identity crisis is over, and I think you finally found a place for yourself. You look wonderful.
My identity, I'm John Turzak.
Hi, and I'm Linda Carter.
And today we're doing an Oktoberfest, a party, and
Complete with all of the proper regalia, all of our little outfits here.
I'm not German,
And I'm certainly not German.
so you don't have to be German to do this. But you have to know a little bit about beer and partying.
All right, and that we're
Little
good
bit.
at. All right, but I just have one comment before we start cooking.
Okay?
Everything's fine, but the hat has to go.
The hat. Oh, the hat. This is the part I like the most.
Well, later when the beer and the music comes, you can put your hat back on.
Okay.
All right, but for our cooking purposes, let's put the hat aside.
Okay. What's the lineup today, Linda? What are we
right.
going to do?
All right, I think we have a delicious, really authentic, traditional German fare for you today. And we're going to start off with some grilled pretzels. And then we're also going to be cooking, a delicious red cabbage casserole with apples. A very traditional German dish, a stuffed pork loin.
Wine.
All right, I think we have a delicious, really authentic, traditional German fare for you today. And we're going to start off with some grilled pretzels. And then we're also going to be cooking, a delicious red cabbage casserole with apples. A very traditional German dish, a stuffed pork loin.
Wine.
And we're going to do beer in brats.
Beer and brats, my favorite part.
Lots of beer and lots of brats with a nice... And then we're also going to be cooking, a delicious red cabbage casserole with apples. A very traditional German dish, a stuffed pork loin.
Wine.
And we're going to do beer in brats.
Beer and brats, my favorite part.
Lots of beer and lots of brats with a nice little relish to go with it. And what is any kind of German festival or dinner without strudel? So we're going to do
strudel.
a nice apple strudel also.
In a puff pastry.
In a puff pastry,
Nice.
right. Authentic from A to Z.
Okay, well, what do you want to start with? The pretzels?
Okay, why don't I just start quickly? I thought these would be a nice little appetizer for us for our dinner. And we do have friends coming over a little later, so we'll get everything prepared. And basically, this is a real easy recipe. You want to just take your pretzels. You can buy frozen pretzels. You can buy them already prepared. And actually, I'll put you to work. I'll be giving you, this is a joint venture, I want you to know. So basically, what you want to do is brush your pretzels with water or... I don't know, beer? I don't know why you couldn't brush them with a little
How about
beer.
some rum? No? Okay.
We got to keep in the German tradition.
all right.
It's either water or beer, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And the reason you want to make sure you brush them with either water or beer is you've got some crushed or like some rock salt, and you want the salt to adhere to the pretzel, and without some kind of liquid, then it'll really just kind of fall off. So, and I like them really salty because, you're going to have that pitcher of beer right there and freshly grilled pretzels, Papa.
What about the grill here?
Okay,
The kettle. Are you going to show me how to get it started?
All right, I'd be glad to. All right, so what we've got here is, actually, let me just get out of your way here.
Okay.
This is our Weber kettle. And the first thing you want to do is, of course, take your cover off, take the lid off. And if you'll notice, there's a little hook inside. That you just really don't even... It's right there. And you just want to slide your cover right down, and that accommodates it nice. You just keep it there while you're getting the grill set up. Okay, now what we're going to do is all of the food we're going to be cooking today, we want to cook over the indirect method. And most people are accustomed to cooking over direct, where you put the coals in and you cook directly over the heat source. We're going to do it a little differently. And to do this, we need to take out this particular grill. You can just set that down. And come over here because I want to show you how we've got this set up.
So you get the coals here?
Bring the charcoal with you. And you can see we've already got two charcoal rails set in there. And basically all they're going to do is hold the charcoal on the side of the grill. See, we're not cooking directly over the heat. We're going to cook indirectly by having the coals on the side of the grill.
Okay.
All right.
Should we open up the bottom here?
You can open and make sure your vents are open. That's a very, very good point. It's probably the most important thing that you consider. Make sure your vents are open.
How much?
This is about a 22-inch kettle. So what you want to do is, for this particular size, about 25 on each side, 25 and 25.
I want you to know this is the hardest part of doing this entire party, and this is very easy.
Well, you have to work for your dinner. So
Do I have to count these, or can I just rough it?
You can just rough it.
Okay.
Okay, so I think this side needs a little more.
A little more, okay.
Because again, we're cooking, the charcoal is going to be set up on the sides, and they're going to be set up in such a way that they're opposite the sides of the handles of the kettle.
Okay.
Now, what you want to keep in mind is if you've got a smaller kettle, then you're obviously going to use less charcoal, and then many times just consult with your instruction manual, and that will tell you just how many briquettes to use. Now, as far as starting it, you can go ahead and use either a liquid charcoal starter, or you can certainly use an electric starter, but I think when you're cooking
This is a little faster.
with a direct method too, this is a little more convenient and a little easier.
Mm-hmm. A match, nice long match to keep the hair on your arms in place.
All right, and you can go ahead and get it started. Okay, and I think the only other thing you need to keep in mind is when you're using lighter fluid like this, you really need to let these charcoals preheat or cook for about 30 minutes. Many times the ash, basically all of your cookbooks tell you to wait until a gray ash covers all of your charcoal. And you really need to give it that 30 minutes because then you'll be certain of burning off any of the flames or any of the, any of the charcoal starter.
Incidentally, a couple of our things we're going to make today, we are making out of our Weber cookbook recipe book.
Right.
Which is
We'll be
kind of nice.
showing that a little later. And other than that, that's really the only thing you need to keep in mind. Give it a good 30 minutes to preheat, and then you're all set to cook.
Okay.
The only other thing I would just remind you is keep the grill off the top until your charcoal is ready. We're just going to let it preheat for about 30 minutes.
Keep the top
just to
thing that
keep
you
that
cook on
grill
there?
off,
Okay.
right.
Okay, we're all set here.
Okay, why don't we...
What's
do you
next?
just let this do its thing for about 30 minutes?
I'll tell you about the pork loin. Our pork loin is, first of all, in Germany they eat a lot of pork loins for Oktoberfest. Smoked, marinated, sliced, pork hash, just about everything. What we're going to do is, we have a pork loin that's tied up here. We're going to slice in between the pieces of string. We're going to make a stuffing out of onions, breadcrumbs, olives, ham, apples, walnuts, and season it up a little bit and stuff it inside the loin. Put the loin on the roast. And what I've done, because I wanted to get the onions working a little bit here so you could see the effect of it actually cooking on the kettle, is the onions are sauteed a little bit. And at this point in the game we have, see that they're hot here. And
can I make a suggestion that you just move that pan sideways off a little bit?
sideways,
Okay.
a little bit like that, okay. And the apples, here. You know what you could do, Linda? You could slice in between these here if you want and make a little rivets.
All right, what size roast is this, would you say?
This is about a 4-pound, 5-pound loin that's been boned out and tied up.
All right, and I'm going to cut in between the strings?
Right.
Okay, all right.
And the ham goes in the saute pan.
Okay, so you've got 2 onions cooking that you've sauteed in some butter, and then you've got about a half a cup of ham, half a cup of chopped walnuts.
Okay, I need a knife to chop up the thing when you're done there. Go ahead.
All right. How far into this roast should I be cutting it?
That's
halfway?
good. That's perfect.
Is that about halfway through? Okay.
I'm going to add the olives. This is so yummy.
It's like an easy recipe, too. Now, is it necessary that you cook those ingredients, or once you've sauteed your onions, you're really just combining them
Just
all?
kind of warming them up together, right?
Okay, actually, do you want to put those in this dish here if you think they're okay?
Just about. Hold on one second. Let me get the apples quickly chopped up a little bit.
So you've got about 2 apples, did you say?
Apples,
all right.
yeah.
Nice tart apples also, or does it make any difference?
Nice tart apples.
Okay. Okay, I think that's everything that you need here. I've always loved apples and pork combinations, so I got a feeling I'm going to love this dish. And I was a little girl. My mother used to bake anything we wanted for our birthdays. I always asked for the pork loin roast. So this is just
in there.
all right.
Okay. I'm going to take this pork loin and sprinkle a little salt on here. Such a nice piece of meat, really. This is a crowd pleaser for sure.
It's a really festive looking dish too. I love roast pork.
Okay.
All right, here's a bowl for your ingredients.
You got to be careful because this stuffing gets a little hot also, so I want to save an ingredient or two in the end to help neutralize the heat so you can get your hands in there and mix it up. And I'm going to add...
so you have 1 cup of fresh breadcrumbs,
breadcrumbs.
not toasted, dried breadcrumbs, but fresh breadcrumbs.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to moisten it up with a little butter.
What, about 3 tablespoons of butter? No eggs, because quite often I use eggs for stuffing.
No eggs. This is kind of a pretty loose stuffing, you know? All right, we're going to throw it inside here.
Can I stir it up some more?
Place it inside.
This is the fun part. This is the hands-on cooking approach right here.
And it's placed in like so. Okay? Linda, why don't we get the rest of the grill ready there? And I'll finish filling
Okay,
this
you want
up.
to finish stuffing
Yes.
it? Okay. Just get out of your way here.
And we'll get this roast on here. I'm getting a little too hungry here today.
I know,
Alrighty.
I'm starving, just starving. Okay, so we've got our grill already set up for indirect cooking, and you know what I'm going to need, John, or you're going to need it. There's a roasting grate right there, right? You could just put the roast on that when you bring it over.
Okay.
But what I want to point out to you is because our kettle is set up this way, and we've got our charcoal and everything's heated, this particular roast is going to cook for what? About an hour and a half to 2 hours, would you say?
2 hours.
2 hours? Okay.
Hours, yeah.
What you want to keep in mind is about an hour into the cooking time, you need to add some more charcoal to it. And usually you want to add about 8 per side. And if you just notice how this is set up, our handles, you want to position the grill this way, and then you can just drop your additional 8 briquettes to each side about an hour into cooking. So that's really an important little feature and why you set it up this way. But you can see this nice little broiling rack that accommodates this loaf nicely.
Nice. Okay.
Oh my God, looks spectacular.
We'll be back after this commercial break, and we're going to finish some really powerful
Get to the
German food. It's going to be great.
1952, George Stephen invents the incredibly durable Weber kettle. It soon becomes the best-loved way to broil burgers and roast the Thanksgiving turkey.
We love it.
But nobody loves cleaning out the ashes.
We don't love that.
Weber engineers, deep in thought, invent the one-touch system. Weber's one-touch opens to circulate heat and seal in the juices. Weber's one-touch closes to put out the fire. Best of all, Weber's one-touch sweeps out all the ashes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The Weber one-touch, only from Weber.